It's funny how we often don't notice the little things fading away in our lives, the way our favorite diner just doesn't feel quite the same anymore, or how the sound of a nearby train no longer echoes through the night. And yet, there was once a time when people eagerly leaned out of car windows, faces lit with joy, ready to read aloud from the iconic Burma-Shave signs that dotted the American landscape. Those small, red rectangles with their whimsical, cheeky poetry captured the spirit of the open road in a way nothing else could. But like many beloved traditions of yesteryear, they began to fade away, leaving us with nostalgic echoes instead of memories. You remember those Friday nights or Saturday afternoons, don't you? Families piled into the car, the scent of fried chicken from the picnic basket wafting through the windows, and the excitement of the journey ahead bubbling through the air. As you drove down winding country roads, there they were, those quirky, sequential signs standing guard at the roadside, waiting to be read. Don't rush, one would say. The next would offer to get there. And the punchline? You'll see. Followed by the final flourish, Burma-Shave. Each sign, a delightful little moment inserted into the fabric of long car rides, made every road trip an adventure brimming with laughter and a touch of wonder. Burma-Shave originated in the 1920s, bringing a dash of humor and a sense of community to America's highways. This series of signs, subdivided into charmingly short verses, connected strangers traveling miles apart through shared laughter and wit. They provided a way to bond as families chased sunsets and road trip memories, ushering in the era of automobile travel with style and flair. Do you recall the families at neighboring picnic tables at roadside parks, their children laughing as they recited those playful rhymes? It's a lovely feeling to remember that time of innocent joy as you watch the world sail by from your passenger seat. And oh, those messages. The Burma-Shave signs did more than simply promote a product, they delighted. They captivated. Who could forget the beauty of passing sign after sign, each new verse bringing a smile, like a little private joke shared with the universe? Often, they imparted nuggets of wisdom wrapped in humor, nudging drivers to slow down and appreciate life's simple pleasures. Cows, one warned, you can't steer. Or the famously cheeky, beware of blast, followed shortly by the old whistlin' man. Like poetry on the precincts of America's backroads, they captured the spirit of the times. We often hear stories of how the golden age of road travel gave way to wide-open interstates in the 1950s. With multi-lane highways making cross-country travel quicker than ever, this transformation came with a cost. Those cherished small moments were often tucked away, losing their enchanting charm amidst the rush. The roadside gallantries and rumblings of laughter over quirky sign poetry became muffled. The hush of modern life was setting upon a rapidly changing world, and soon the sound of children's laughter reading from rolling windows changed to the monotony of the radio, a dull rhythm of newscasts and pop music. Can you remember how it felt to truly embrace those family trips? Perhaps it was a trip to the beach or a visit to Grandma's house. The journey home often stood out in heartwarming contrast to the magical destination. The reads on those Burma-Shave signs punctuated the experience, threading through memory like a delightful ribbon of continuity against the backdrop of so many miles traveled. Yet, even as families were enjoying long rides and reading those rhymes together, something insiders could sense was shifting. By the time the 1960s rolled in, the landscape of American road trips was rapidly changing. The charms of the Burma-Shave signs dwindled as their practicality began to fade, towns expanded, zoning laws changed, and the automobile culture of America moved into a new chapter, where speed was prioritized over whimsy. Slowly, the small rural roads were being overtaken by the expanding highways, and with each new asphalt layer added, the signs vanished, taking with them a slice of joyful simplicity. In this modern age, we've become accustomed to sleek, gray stretches of highway lacking the character those red signs once brought. With the rush of life spiraling forward unchecked, how often do we stop to share pauses of laughter, the warmth of connectedness as we engage with our surroundings? The pictures we saw in advertisements, families joyously engaging the world around them through the reeds of silly poems, transformed into snapshots of strangers moving too quickly, their faces hidden behind glass. As the unstoppable sentiment of progress snuck up alongside, Burma-Shave began to remove their signs, finally culminating in 1963, when the last of the series was bid farewell. It's difficult to describe the sadness that swept through those who knew and understood the magic of those signs. A piece of Americana slipped quietly away, auctioned off like forgotten memorabilia, a history preserved only in photographs and cherished recollections for those who actively engaged in road adventures. Can you feel it, too? The bittersweet blend of nostalgia mingling with the realization of something beautiful lost? Just think of those last stands, possibly purchased by someone who fully understood their value, a tribute to the cheerful spirit of joy they once brought to so many. Imagine what it must have been like to experience the very last signs coming down, taken from their proud perches beside the road. We were collectively bereft, standing by to say goodbye to not just painted wood but to a form of communication that welcomed travelers into countless places with a smile and a little bit of humor. In those simple signposts lay wisdom and warmth, entering our shared experience as we shaped the memories of our youth into the fabric of our lives. Isn't it lovely, in a way, that those fragments of laughter still resonate? That the echo of those reeds survives in our hearts? The joy they brought can still be felt today, wrapped around those childhood memories as families revisited the open road, and we can still pause to reflect on its significance amidst our hurried lives. The world may have changed, and technological advancement has shaped how we travel, yet the heart of travel remains the same, the experience itself, the stories shared, the laughter exchanged. The nostalgia of those red-painted signposts remind us that direct engagement in the beauty of life, the rituals we cultivated around the evening drives and road trips, is a treasure worth preserving. As you think back, I invite you, do you remember sharing those moments with your family, laughing over the catchy rhymes drifting through open windows? If you do, perhaps it's time to celebrate those memories. Share your own stories in the comments below. Let's keep those memories alive, reminding ourselves of the warmth and charm that defined those simpler days. They may have stopped printing those delightful Burma-Shave signs on every American road, but we, dear friends, can still cherish and share the essence that made them so dear. Let's carry the spirit of those joyful moments with us as we navigate the roads of our lives today, preserving the legacy of laughter and connection, one story at a time. The road beckoned with the promise of adventure, and the Burma-Shave signs welcomed you with their quirky wit as they lined the highways. Each stop along the twisted routes unfolded a new verse, much like the unfolding chapters of a beloved storybook. What memories rush to the forefront of your mind when you think of those car rides? Picture this. It's a bright summer day in the late 1940s, and a family of 4 is jammed into their modest, yet dependable station wagon equipped for a weekend adventure. Your mother had packed sandwiches made from the day-old bread and some homemade lemonade in a thermos, while your dad drove with the windows rolled down, letting in a warm breeze filled with the sweet scent of fresh grass and blooming wildflowers. As you cruised along the winding roads, spirits high with excitement, you could spot the first Burma-Shave sign peeking around the bend. You'd lean out of the window, heart racing, eager to shout those verses as your siblings joined in, voices harmonizing with youthful energy. Along with their poetic charm, those signs also had a knack for teaching little lessons. One verse might read, "A man who drives / a car wide open / is not / a man / you'll be hopin'." Each rhyme blended humor and practicality, becoming an unspoken part of the family's collective memory. How often did you find giggles erupting organically as you all pondered the virtues or absurdities of each quirky line? And amidst the laughter, lessons unwittingly sunk in, as those poetic snippets about defensive driving and caution would echo in your mind long after the trip was over. As the years rolled forward, so too did the magic of the Burma-Shave signs. The roads transformed, and so did the couples and families traversing them. By the time the late 1950s arrived, America experienced a population boom, with families enjoying more mobility than ever, a hallmark of a post-war nation united in the promise of good times ahead. But with the increasing speed of travel came an urgent need for safety and efficiency, a shift that would punctuate the fate of those beloved red signs. But don't you remember the thrill of roadside food stops? Picture yourself making pit stops along the way, an ice cream truck with a jingle that set your heart racing in anticipation of sweet, creamy indulgence. Your family pulled off to a diner with a neon sign that flashed in vibrant colors, a promise of burgers, fries, and homemade root beer. The red booths beckoned you inside, where the scent of frying potatoes melded with the sound of clanking plates and animated chatter of fellow travelers. As your family savored their food, you'd proudly recite the latest Burma-Shave joke, the sign's memory dancing on your tongue as the laughter flowed. Don't forget to /honor the speed limit / or your fun / might just get dimmed. Sadly, that simple charm began to slip into history as highways expanded and the nature of travel morphed. With more drivers trading scenic backroads for the speedy convenience of major interstates, families found themselves absorbed within the confines of their cars, watching their surroundings speed by like frames of a movie reel. Instead of more poetry and humor, they encountered plain signs emphasizing safety, speed limits, and corporate advertising. The heartfelt burst of whimsy felt lost under concrete skies, smothered by the relentless pace of modernity. Yet, the people nostalgic for those magical moments weren't merely remnants of a bygone era. They were a chorus of voices collectively seeking to carve happiness and connection on their journeys. In fact, some loyal fans created Burma-Shave clubs to keep the spirit alive. Traveling in packs, they would set out on road trips. Each member would sponsor a sign for the journey, claiming their verses were essential road trip ingredients. The warmth of community drew them together as they chased vintage signs, sharing black and white photographs of those whimsical moments while swapping stories from their adventures. Did you ever partake in such road trip escapades? Perhaps they sparked a rekindled sense of joy. However, as the interstates took over, Burma-Shave's strategy for connecting with travelers shifted as well. They turned to radio advertising, a space booming with the sounds of rock and roll, joining the ranks of entertainment that randomized excitement. Ads blared through car radios of bright-colored cars whizzing along asphalt ribbons, yet even among the catchy jingles, you could still sense the tenderness of families longing for simpler joys found along rural routes. It was as though that funny, engaging rhythm of life faded slowly, vanishing without a sound. In 1963, the world took note when the last Burma-Shave signs were auctioned off. Can you imagine the hushed crowd, a collection of those who cherished the signs, watching in melancholy as pieces of Americana fell into the hands of private collectors? Perhaps you hear echoes of the past as they reminisced. Those signs echoed in their hearts as actual representations of joy, connection, and a simpler era. The nostalgia was palpable. This wasn't just the loss of satirical poetry, it was the loss of decades of shared laughter amidst the splash of vibrant summer days. As collectors grabbed pieces of history, they walked away with something more than painted wood. They possessed fragments of liveliness, poems that were once giggled over in youthful exuberance. Those signs now resonate through geographical histories as mementos of what it meant to connect along highways spreading like arteries through America's roads. But the legacy of Burma-Shave extends further, threading its way into the very fabric of Americana and even influencing contemporary road culture. The roadside attraction has morphed with the years, yet there is something timeless about the idea of whimsy and creativity infusing our journeys. You may see echoes of the Burma-Shave spirit present in quirky roadside diners, contemporary pop-up signs with witty sayings, or even social media posts displaying road trip adventures enveloped in laughter, reminding us that stories should be shared. With nostalgic feelings gently stirred, perhaps you recall how the spirit of adventure and connection still thrives within us. Families today may not hang their heads out the window reciting Burma-Shave signs, but the essence of those joyful moments endures. Road trips remain a cherished rite of passage, an opportunity for connections via laughter, eager conversations, and music drifting lightly over the miles. Recklessness tempered by a wisdom that recognizes the significance of each moment spent together as you navigate through life and memory alike. As you think back on those cherished family journeys, join me in honoring the spirit of those delightful red signs. Let us carry forth the warmth of remembrance and the lightheartedness that once characterized our moments on the road. From the scent of fresh air to the sound of laughter, let's keep those cherished memories alive, nestled safely in our hearts and shared through our stories. Those Burma-Shave signs may have stopped appearing on American roads, but the memories they wrapped around our lives remain vivid, standing tall in our recollections. What do you say? Can we together hold tight to that nostalgic thread, weaving it into the tapestry of our current journeys? Go ahead and share with us in the comments below. Let those memorable moments flow from your fingertips and transform into stories of joy and laughter. Let's create an anthology of reminiscences from our travels that speak to our shared experiences, ever encouraging the spirit of adventure within us all.